welcome into the EGF Season 3, brought to you by Intel. We are here with myself, Prepaid, and Ocean to bring you University of Connecticut and Canisius College. Ocean, this year has been really good for one of these teams in UCONN, and a little bit of a disappointment, I would say, for Canisius. But the biggest thing is when we look at Canisius, they had a goal this season of improvement. That was their biggest thing. And so I would say, in general, they've done it. For myself personally, they have improved to a point where I think they can be proud of what they've done. But for you, what do you think about Canisius this year and how they've, performed up to their own expectation?
Maybe they've improved in maybe their general mechanical ability. Maybe they've improved in certain areas, but I've not really seen anything that's going to progress them towards a couple more wins in the season. In fairness, they got a map win last week against Fairfield, which
Yep.
They played okay on a couple maps in that series. In fairness, but there's nothing really that they're improving on. That there's a big macro important thing in Overwatch. It's gonna really test UCONN today in particular. UCONN, of course, is a really good, aggressive team, very proactive. Going to be very difficult for Canisius to stand up to UCONN in this one.
Yeah, and for myself and Canisius, right, we're going to be going to Lijiang here, followed by Hollywood and Hanamura. But, for Canisius, I definitely think that this year has been overall a success for them on an individual level and on a team level, as far as their goals and their expectations that they brought to us, especially at the beginning of the split, from what I've read, right? And switching gears over to, Connecticut, UConn has done a marvelous job this year. 9-3 record, going to be going for 10-3, sitting near the top of the table. It's one of those things where I look at UConn and I go, yeah, this is going to be an uphill battle for Canisius. But again, at the end of the day, what we're looking for is for Canisius to take some team fights, get maybe a couple map wins, take this to potentially 4 to 5 games, right? We're not expecting miracles here or anything like too bad. But at the same time, UConn looks fantastic. So UConn coming in, and as of right now, on Lijiang, I think it's one of their better maps. And with UConn, I'm expecting, well, actually, I don't really know what to expect here, if I'm being honest, because, they've proven that they can run almost any comp they want to run. So, Ocean, what do you think that UConn should be maybe doing in this map, right? Should they be, doing one of their bread and butter comps, or maybe is this a time to experiment?
I don't really know if experimenting is kind of a good option for them. I think just do something standard like brawl, or maybe something like standard spam composition, something like that. I think is good, because you can practice general team synergy things. I think that's kind of a good idea. Because realistically, one thing that is kind of difficult to play about Canisius is some of their players will be scattered all over the map, right?
Yeah.
So you can see a target off in the distance, and say you're on brawl, it can be quite difficult to get onto that target. That's something they can practice executing in this sort of series.
Yeah, I mean, execution is definitely the name of the game for the top teams. Super fun to see them execute on a high level. Yeah, I was playing, just a little bit ago, and talking to a few other people behind the scenes. And Lijiang is one of those, snowball type, game modes, right? You got the control where, that center point opens up, and whoever takes the first fight kind of sets the tone for the rest of the map. It's very difficult to kind of break into that zone and, really transition into, a second level of a game like this. So Canisius, if they can get out here quickly, they can go ahead and make it happen and, get to an early start. And they do take the teleporter. Both teams, I like it, as we're going to see them go ahead and start the fight right here on the middle of the map. And it's going to be a bit of a poke and prod, as Canisius does end up being the first one to fall, as Samo is the first one to find a kill. Traded back by Nathaniel, though. Very nicely done. But Connecticut overall going to take control of this point. And there we go. Connecticut on the board first, taking control.
Well, that's something that we haven't actually seen Canisius do on all up this season. You saw Flicker there taking an off angle. We haven't really seen any off-angle setups from them this season. Maybe that's something that they can look to improve on. General team fight setups, maybe that's a goal. I mean, to be fair, we talked about what Canisius' goals were, right? And they said to improve, but they didn't really say in what sort of manner they wanted to improve at all, really. I feel like having someone there could say, okay, we're going to work on Focus Fire this week. We're going to work on learning about different compositions this week. That sort of thing. That might be the ticket for them if they want to improve and go further up the standings in later seasons of EGF.
Yeah, and working on aggression right here is Connecticut. They are pushing right through and putting it to Canisius as they are going to fall fairly quickly. But, you know, I like what their idea was here. You know, get Flick up to this tire, maybe build up some ults on this initial drive push here, maybe even make Connecticut use some ultimates. Did a good job pushing in, a little bit too over-aggressive for Nathan. But overall, Canisius up to that tire and coming up on some other ults that they can use.
Yeah, I mean, the next team fight's going to be difficult as well for Canisius. Realistically, Connecticut have, what, 5, 6 ultimates roughly in this next team fight. They're setting up for something here. Photon barrier, aggressive engagement. This is what you really get out of Connecticut. It's so proactive when they're playing.
Yeah, I do love when you say proactive too, because it is super funny when you see Sam drop that wall and Tiz and your boy Wings team up for that classic amp fire strike.
What's happening here?
Cutting through the team.
You see where Asdark is?
Yeah.
Just kind of chilling.
Oh wow, he's way up there, isn't he? Oh, he doesn't even have the bomb, but maybe he's just looking for an assassination.
Maybe going for the sport line. Maybe the Baptiste.
Yeah, he's gonna go right in on the Baptiste. Baptiste didn't see it coming,
but
nice
sleep.
And did get enough for the bomb. Gonna get the ammo out. Does end up picking up Nels though, so Nels going down on the tire. The bomb comes out, but I mean it's traded back and forth. At the end of the day, though, Connecticut is overall winning out. Spawn advantage is for Canisius right now, and Nathaniel is just going in. Oh, this brawl is fantastic. Like I said, the spawns are coming through, but unfortunately, nobody let them touch the point, and that's first round going to Connecticut. I tell you what, though, they made it fun.
Yeah. I liked it. A good, solid professional performance from Connecticut. They made sure that they got the ride done. No real silly shenanigans. I really like that photon barrier fight setup. Really, really good. Nothing too extraordinary. I thought they were going for some weird TP play, to be honest, right? And I liked the fact that it was simple, right? Photon barrier, and then let's walk. Let's do that. And I think it might have been that Matrix Fire Strike as well at the start of the team fight. Really good opening. You would use that against any good team as well. So something that they can practice their execution with. I like that team fight from UCONN. You know what, Canisius didn't really achieve much that round, but you know what? There was a semblance of a backline there. When Esdark was on the top of the ship and then went after the Baptiste. Good sleep dart, right? And that's something you need to learn when you're starting to play Overwatch. Your support line and your backline, that's a big fundamental that you need to work on. And that was probably the best backline moment of the season for Canisius.
Yeah, I was going to say it when this round started. I love the fact that Ghost swapped over to Lucio, maybe give Nathaniel a little bit more agency to jump into the front line and do a little bit more and get him in and out. And right there, we see your boy Wings going down to him. But Esdirk and Nelsie just doing a great job of controlling this team fight. The first punch off the map opens it up and allows your boy Wings and Dirk to get in there. Tiz Guy and Help Fox even got a bit of damage down. As you can see, their ults are building up quite quickly. But overall, Canisius is doing a really good job of starting these fights, but it's just the execution that's a bit lacking. And now we're going to come up on the second fight. They are going to hold close on these doors. University of Connecticut knows exactly what they want to do. They've got the turrets down. Good amount of damage coming through. Your boy Wings, though, dropping dangerously low. Gonna have to back it off, and that's where the Lucio comes in, as we just talked about. Gets him out nice and safe. Nels, bit over aggressive, and the ammo is not enough to save him. Dragon is gonna be committed, splitting up the team, and this is the coordination you were just talking about for Canisius.
This is good.
And now they have a big advantage. That's a slam, and here we go. Canisius is gonna take this point right now. Let's go.
That was good. That was genuinely a really strong team fight from Canisius. So they need to clean up this Doomfist and try and get rid of those troubles, get rid of the teleporter. Now focus the Reinhardt down. Okay, good. Good team fight, right? Genuinely, really good Dragon Strike. They use that to get Nathaniel into a team fight. Nathaniel gets really aggressive into a position where they can get a strong Earth Shatter. Really good plan there from Canisius. Use the Dragon Strike to get them some players in and then go aggressive onto the backline. Really strong team fight. That's something we haven't really seen from them prior. Any sort of team fight planning. That was a good team fight plan as well.
Yeah, and now we get to see if your boy Wings can find that slam that he really, really wants to throw down right here. Obviously going to not have to need it, especially with the wall containing a lot of the damage, allowing him just to push in. And Sam just at full beam charge here on the Symmetra, going to be able to just take down any target she wants to. And there it is. Helpful Fox going to come in and help Nelsie finish off the Hanzo. But yeah, you were right. Canisius did a good job there flipping the point. And that's the improvement we were talking about a little bit earlier, as we just see the cleanups coming through here as they try to set up for the next fight. But yeah, we were just talking about Canisius and what we wanted to see from them, and that's exactly it. So let's see if they can do it again on this fight. They do have a couple of ults to use. They got the barrier, and they have the Graviton Surge, it's going to be very important that this bomb doesn't catch anybody out. Bubbles have been used. Immo does go down, doesn't get a lot of damage down, but it's the the Diva Bomb from over the top. Push it off, Nathaniel. And there it is. Canisius is going to be backed up a little bit, but Flick finds a pick on the way out, and good dodges by Nels. Well, Connecticut shut that down fairly quick, and now we're getting towards last fight territory.
As it goes down, this is a chance here for Canisius to walk in, right? They've got some ultimates, got Sound Barrier as well. They just got to make sure that they get this teleporter off before Nelsie does some damage. Meteor Strike here. Okay, Nelsie's just going to get out of the team fight.
Ooh, he's going to go for that high ground. Nice drop down play. There it is. He's coming in. They don't see him coming. Beat is going to save everyone's life. Both are used as a matter of fact. Good shadow into the grab, but it does seem like it's not going to get very much because of that immortality field. They do end up taking it down, but it might be a little bit too late. I don't want to call it as of yet because there's still a wall. You still have a high charge Zarya. She is slowly getting chipped down though as Doom does clean it up. Nels doing a great job of cleaning up these fights. And there's another contest. They didn't take the teleporter down, so we do get another little bit of a contest here. Nels does finish it off with the team. And Connecticut takes a scrappy one. Canisius already coming into these games scrapping it out.
That was all right. It was pretty good map. Connecticut, very solid, very professional. They use some sort of engagements that they're going to use against top teams as well. So they're going to get a good benefit out of that. Usually you could kind of treat this game like a learning experience on both sides of things. And Connecticut are practicing some of their more proactive engagements. I'm a fan of how they're using this series. Canisius had that. If they had every single one of their team fights like that, they'd be a top team this season, right? It was good fun. It was good fight plan, and it was good execution.
Oh, okay. Like I was just saying here a little bit, everyone might have heard Ocean have a little bit of a disconnect. Parsec is having a bit of issue, so technical difficulties in the back end. But I think you're right. Canisius and UCONN can both learn something from this because, like you said, UCONN was definitely it was scrappier than you would expect from them, which is interesting from Canisius' side. They come in and they just take the point, as you said, with a plan. And that's super exciting to see because that could lead into, these next couple games coming around on Hollywood and Hanamura to where that could be very, very interesting to see exactly how that plays out for Canisius on this next two maps, especially Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood's going to be interesting because it's just going to be a different test, right? Lijiang's a very direct map because, well, you're going to be playing around a set objective. That's kind of how control works. Hollywood's a little bit different, where it's not just the objective you kind of have to worry about. It's different areas, critical areas around the map, like the high ground on point A and point B in particular, and the flanks on point C, which are critical areas that you need to be able to control or at least have some sort of eyes on. And that's going to be a unique test for Canisius, and this is something that we haven't really seen much from them today or in their season so far. Fight setups. How do they set up for a particular team fight? We've just seen them in the previous map. They had a really good team fight plan, and they executed it pretty well. But it was on a very direct map. Can they do that on a more convoluted map where there's lots of high grounds, where before you go for a Dragon Strike engagement, you've got to go and take the high ground, for example. Or you have to use the Dragon Strike to get to the high ground and then get your Reinhardt involved. Something a little bit more difficult to try and plan around, but also it's something that you have to be aware of, right? You have to be aware of players on the high ground, you have to be aware of players on the flanks, and this is going to be a big test for Canisius College.
Yeah, Canisius, make no bones about it, right? If you can take a team fight win off of a team, that means that you have the potential to win the game. Now it's about showing consistency, and that's what we really want to see from Canisius. Connecticut, that's probably their biggest strength. Their consistent team fight setups, their consistent team play, and their consistent execution on the setups. Now it's about Canisius. They did it that first time in round one. Now we're here on Hollywood, getting ready to see if they can do it in round two. I'm super, super excited to see if they can make You know, the Anna work here. God, I love it when Anna's in the game, especially with the BAP. That's immense amount of healing, good utility that's going to come out. So Canisius, in my mind, already off to a really good start. It's just with the support lineup. But we do see a bit of scouting coming out. I like that Nelsie's on the Sombra. You know, going to try to be putting a harassment down onto the back line. No one scouted out that was it, but here we go. Going to be coming in with a
Nice
slam
engagement.
hack, and that is a beautiful engagement. Going to be dropping Flick right away. Obviously, sticking together as a team keeps them alive for the extended fight here, but overall, it is going to be tough, especially with Ghost being separated. It is going to have to be a quick little back off while they decide to get the rest of the team here. Oh my goodness, Sam is not giving up on this. Does end up getting the Anna.
Yeah, you know what? That was a really good fight setup. That's something, you know, it's going to be a lot more important on Hollywood in particular. Your fight setups, especially with this Wrecking Ball composition, right? Where is your backline position? Can they have an impact on where I'm power driving, where my Wrecking Ball is engaging? Can my Sombra affect anything? Apparently not. That was some good scouting. They made sure to get rid of that Sombra as soon as she popped out of Invis, and no hack meant that your boy Wings didn't really want to commit to that engagement.
Yeah, and another slam going to come through. Just constant pressure. Flick does find Sam, though, so the opening is there now. And it does look like the mines are almost online. Might want to drop it a little bit earlier, but no, going to swing around the back while teammates are falling. Your boy Wings trying to find a way to take down multiple members of Canisius, and it is done by Helpful Fox and your boy Wings. Mine's finally going to be dropped onto the point here, is in order to stabilize this fight. And the pin comes through, but the Anna drops, which means the healing that they need is pretty much gone, and it's all on BAP. But as of going down earlier in the fight, not going to be there to help out. And Connecticut makes a good recovery, and Canisius, really nice push-up, especially on the initial picks.
Yeah, this could be a difficult fight for Canisius. If they can kind of get past Nelsie's EMP, they've got a pretty good opportunity because they're going to have both support ultimates, Canisius. If Liquid can stay alive here, what's someone looking for? The back line goes to the pulse bomb and gets the Yana.
Wow, stuck it to the ground, didn't even need to stick it to the person, and that is a very nice start to the fight for Connecticut. Ends up going down, but obviously not a lot of places to go. Don't think the EMP is going to be necessary. Nice hack to save your boy Wings, and the grab going to be committed just to really cap off the rest of this fight. Nice suck there. Nice eat from, oh goodness, Nathan. Very good, but not enough, and everyone does end up going down.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult, though, for Canisius, because they've got to play around this EMP, right? Yeah, they've got so many good tools to work with Canisius, but they can all be shut down just by the EMP or maybe a good Transcendence and a good rally. Connecticut have done a really good job of keeping the important ultimates in this game, and let's see how Canisius responds to the potential early EMP. Here it comes.
Yeah, nice EMP catches about 4 members, and it is the 4 members with the ultimates. Special K was the one that went down, so the 5th ultimate was down as well. Canisius kind of get, you know, that's kind of what you want to see. Honestly, you want to see a quick cleanup fight like that. You don't want to get too staggered out, right? Because you're going to have a little bit of time to get a couple more fights. They should just go down here, and they do. So now they're going to get a full regroup. Yes, the EMP does clean up the fight, but now they're going to potentially have 6 ultimates on the board.
Graviton Surge into the spawn. Doesn't quite pick up anything.
Huge grab.
I mean, let's be real. You can't be positive about this and say, no, we've got 5 ultimates. Let's go. We might actually have 6. Stu really close to that Earth Shatter as well. If you can like force out the supports or make them play extremely passive, just kind of play with their positioning a little bit, then some of these ultimates might start to get value. And this actually could be a pretty good opportunity for Canisius.
Yeah, and here we go. We see Special K trying to do it. The 2 ults, or 1 ult is used, especially with the Flux, so that's a lot of good damage down. Gonna force the trans out. Wasn't enough to save the other members. Nice job from your boy Wings and Sam on the back end. Just really putting the pressure down. Pulse Bomb isn't gonna find the kill, but it is enough pressure to get a couple more kills off of it. But Special K shutting that down, and here come the ticks. And an immediate recontest from your boy Wings. Nels finds an immediate kill on the Special K. And so now it's just a fight for their lives out here on Canisius. And they are still on the point finding out, but the respawns are coming through for UCONN. And it does look like UCONN, in the end, is going to actually clean up this fight. I was very unexpectedly, but the EMP closes the door on this round. But a tick for Canisius nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, get a good team fight where they had all those different ultimates. They weren't quite set up for if Connecticut came back into that point day. I feel like, you know, once they kind of cleaned up the support line for the first time, they could have put a player on the high ground, which could have made things a little bit more awkward for Connecticut on the re-engage.
Yeah, Connecticut, I think played that beautifully, right, Ocean? Like when you look at how they engaged with your boy Wings on the ball, you had the hack coming through almost immediately, so no stunts could come through or a sleep, depending on who the hack went on to. I mean, we were talking about the setups before this, but I mean, run me through how difficult is that setup in particular with ball?
I mean, I like the way they played it. I would one note on their setup that was a little bit weird to me. I would have liked to see Helpful Fox or just actually the backline in general. Connecticut's backline play a little bit more of an aggressive angle. I know they were playing pretty safe, but
Mhm.
when your wrecking ball engages, that's usually a moment where you can take your backline into the team fight and have them get aggressive as well. It's usually an opening so that you can get better Discord orbs because you're in a more aggressive angle, and additionally, brigades that could get their inspire up, etc. So I feel like their backline could have positioned a little bit more aggressively, especially since they were going for a really optimal wrecking ball, power drive hack,
Yeah.
particle barrier engagement at the choke, right? With something that specific, you would think that the backline would play a little bit more aggressive as well. But it was pretty solid, right? Every
Mhm.
single time that they have a bubble on the wrecking ball, they have a hack. It was pretty cool, really impressive defense, and that's something that Canisius could look at, right?
Yep.
Canisius can look at that and go, okay, how do we do something similar?
Yeah, Canisius definitely could be, definitely looking to learn a little bit here from Connecticut and some of these top teams they're going to be going against later in this season. As we see the kills coming through fairly quickly for the Fair and the Widow, a lot of good space being gained from the tanks to set this up, and that is going to be point one taken for Connecticut in fairly quick fashion. But it was all about the attack for them, right? I think Canisius did a good job of trying to get setups, though. Some of the off angles that were taken from Sam and even your boy Wings weren't cleared out, which I think is really the downfall of that entire round, not clearing out some of the spaces behind them or above them. And then we get to see Sam here really just kind of pop off on the Widow, finding some really nice picks. And again, made space by the rest of the team. But yeah, I think Connecticut really proves exactly why they're a top team, exactly why we look at them to be going into the nationals and the playoffs as a very, very highly regarded team.
Yeah, again, a good professional job. I like the composition on defense as well. I maybe would have preferred something like a Sigma instead of a Zarya, but it's quite clear that your boy Wings wanted to make that engagement at choke.
Mhm.
So in that case, I think that the Zarya is a little bit better because Zarya has a lot of offensive utility compared to Sigma's defensive utility. But I also think maybe that's why the backline was a little bit more passive. Even with Sigma bringing them into a team fight as well as Brigitte, that your Zenyatta is going to feel a lot more confident. That's just kind of my idea on that. But I do like the way that they were like, okay, we're going to run the Zarya with the Wrecking Ball. We're going to engage at chokes so our ball guaranteed stays alive.
Okay, before we move in to the next game here, right? I definitely want to look at the standings and what this means for UConn. So for UConn, with this win, it'll put them at 10-3 and move them into the top 5, which is where you have Colorado, Marist, William and Mary, and St. John's, and Wichita on the outside looking in, depending on how their games go today. Uh, in the top 5 with UConn, and you're looking at those other 4 teams, did wins and losses matter at that point, or is it just a gaggle of 5 teams with very similar records that are all contending? Like, where would you put UConn in that? Are they the top contender, or are they just in it and have potential to compete?
I think out of those five that you listed, they're probably around 4 or 5.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan about how William and Mary have developed over the course of the season. I remember casting them on day one. William and Mary were good, right? And they lost a map 6, I believe, in that series. But they've had a lot of identity, and that's why William and Mary is such a good team. Identity. So I think William and Mary, I think I slightly fancy over UConn. I'm a big fan of Marist as well, and I'm a big fan of Colorado. Another
Yeah.
team that isn't currently in the top 5, and a lot of people will consider that as a shock right now, is UTA, University of Texas Arlington. Really, really good team. Can play a lot of different compositions. They're not currently in the top 5. We're going to see them later on today as well. They're going to have to try and make their way back up. Tennessee are on good form, beat UTA last week, which was a
Yep.
massive shock to a lot of people. So, and there are a couple of teams that you can't even have to contend with to stay in that top 5.
Yeah, and I think to your point here with all those, you have a few favorites like William and Mary, and I would agree. I think William and Mary and even Maris are maybe slightly, as of right now, above UConn as far as coordination,
And of course,
proactivity.
Colorado, right?
Well,
Colorado
that's what
just
I was
like
saying.
dominant. They are
Everybody
dominant
is
right now.
chasing Colorado, which is sitting at 11-0. So, I mean, realistically, 3 games back right now from the top seed. But overall, all of these teams are just absolutely insane and have very high level coordination, which goes to my point, especially to Canisius as a newer team entering the league and, a team that's just kind of building their roster up from new. This is one of those games where you get to, have that experience against a top level team. And this is a top 5 level team. So you get to have that and really show your mettle.
Yeah, I think the important thing is you learn from it, right? You see, okay, what are they doing? What are they doing that makes them better than us? And it's usually it's setups right now. What else? They're usually not doing that. Don't copy that bit, Canisius. All right.
Yeah, we do see a bit of role swaps here. Sam is now on tank and Esdirk is on the DPS, and the immediate swap from Genji onto the Doom. But the initial pick goes to Canisius, punishing that positional mistake, and now they're on point and starting up the ticks. Tiz guy gonna find Flick there, but overall it is Canisius with full point control. Even though Bastion is finding picks, they do have to eventually contest, and here we go. UConn finally moving in for the recontest as Sam comes back onto the ball. And there we go. UConn, settles off the positional error, and they eventually retake the point. But good job by Canisius to push in off that.
Yep. As they're going to the Doomfist now. I think Aztecs played 5 different heroes so far this series, so maybe that's why they're on the DPS, trying to get their new high for the season. I'm not exactly sure the reason for the role swap, so exactly, maybe they're testing some things, I guess, for future weeks. That's a cool rollout.
That was awesome. I haven't seen that since Get Quaked On. That was really cool. And Esdirk showing not just a diva main, knows some of the angles for the Doomfist. You gotta love to see it. A little bit of fun there. Your boy Wing's gonna be cleaning up on the Sigma. I mean, when you got Dooms coming and rolling out like that, you have to have something to stop it. And to be quite honest, it's literally just asleep. And if Special K is nearby, you can maybe flash that, but you have to see it coming, and they did not.
I think it was just a really cool rollout, to be fair. Well, I wouldn't be prepared for that. Definitely not. That was cool. Really cool rollout. Well executed as well. Really good timing on it, right? Knew exactly where the Canisius players was, or were. So, I mean, yeah, just kind of... It must have been well communicated, to be honest. Here comes another nano, but Azdirk is going ham right now.
There we go. They got the sleep off. They got the flash off. Does end up getting out because they ended up with saves lives. Flux going to come through. A lot of really, really good, helpful life-saving tools used by Connecticut, because I think Esdirk might have went down there if those were not used. And then it enables Ez to just pop off and the Bastion to push through. And now we're going to see Nelsie try to set up and maybe go for a bit of a flank as everyone else on the team pushes up.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be actually quite difficult for Canisius to deal with, especially if they don't know that Nelsie's up on this high ground. It's basically a spawn camp at this rate.
Yeah, they are just using it at the doors. Ultimates, nice little flick there from Nelsie, getting the pick onto Special K there. Cass going down fairly quickly. And now they're just going to hold him right at the doors. And now it's about Canisius finding a way to push out, use the other door, use some ults. And that is what you have to do here. You do have to start using ults just to push out of your own spawn when this kind of thing starts happening.
Oof, Nelsie goes down now. Window of opportunity. This is a window of opportunity for Canisius to come and get this objective, though, right? I mean, they've got both DPS ultimates, and Connecticut have a couple players down right now.
Nice stun, nice boop, and the peel comes through for Melly as they are pushing through now. As Esdirk has been getting caught out a little bit, but that's okay because putting the pressure down. Nice anti, gonna be hitting onto multiple members of Canisius. Still just trying to stay alive. And does find the mini, gets the self-preservation bubble. Oh, dodges, but not going to end up living. That was a cool little sequence right there for Upstates. That was fun.
Nelsie on the way to make it. Looking for some aggressive angles in the spawn doors. Not quite finding anything so far. Canisius, 15 seconds left to get into this objective and keep this series going, and they actually needed Flicker alive. I think the Riptire would have been a great tool for them to open up this team fight.
Yeah, now it's going to be all about the flux, all about the grab, maybe even Special K. Ooh, the rock doesn't quite land, so the damage will come through. But in the end, Connecticut holds strong. Even though there were some unconventional angles being taken, they ended up holding.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing much to say on that round. I think everyone who's watching can see what's happening, right? UCONN, they're confident, right? They're extremely confident. We see players playing on different rules that they're not really they're used to playing, but the result is the same, right? UCONN have some good confidence. They have been aggressive, and Canisius have struggled to deal with that, right? So much so that Connecticut have been able to spawn camp them at times. But I don't think that's going to take away from Canisius this series, right?
Nope.
Just that one moment on Lijiang Tower, in particular on Night Market, was enough for me to say that Canisius have had a good couple of weeks. Good last 2 weeks. They got a map last week against Fairfield, and a pretty okay week this week to get a really strong team fight in there. And people will be watching like, why are we talking about one little team fight as if it's Canisius' season? Well, it is, to be honest, right? It's a good moment for them. It's probably their best
It's
team
the
fight this
yeah.
season. And when Canisius are a team that are focused on improvement, they got to do that more. They got to look at
Well,
setups as well. But I'm not really going to be too fussed on that.
well, I was going to say to your point, it's the accumulation of the tools practiced. And that's kind of what you're getting at is like that one fight showed the improvement throughout the whole year in just one little fight, and now it's about putting those fights back to back to back to back, in order to get consistent wins. And that's the process that you learn not only in the EGF but any tournament you would be in. But now we get to see if they can, put those fights back to back on defense as we started out. And they bring out the Bastion and the Torb, and getting some nice early kills. Special K as that's definitely a nice adjustment, right? Put the aggression, take their aggression and use it against them, especially with the Torb Bastion. You're able to really punish the mistakes that Connecticut might make, and they made a ton of them right there.
Yeah, it was an interesting approach from Connecticut. So how are Connecticut going to break this? Because it's actually been quite awkward to walk into, especially with that Winston Wrecking Ball combo. I think they have to take different angles, right? They have to dive on the same target pre-pit, but they don't have to come from the same place, right? You can't really have Samo and your boy Wings jumping in onto the Bastion from choke. This has to be well set up. So Disguise is going to have to take an angle as your boy Wings walks in from main, and there's going to be a power drive from Samo, I assume.
Yeah, Samo, having a bit of struggles there on the ball, getting stuck on the wall. Not quite the engage he was looking for, I imagine. But here we go. What you were just talking about, they are going to be looking to jump on the Bastion and the Mercy. But Sam going to be jumping just on to the Bastion, getting burned down immediately. Your boy Wing's going to go in with the Nano. Oh, the beautiful pin by Upstate, not letting Mercy walk through for free. And the Nano is now over. And they're doing a great job of holding these doors and punishing people as they walk through.
Nelson needs to get out of here. This is actually kind of worrying for UCONN. 2 minutes left on the clock now. That can go away pretty quickly on Hanamura. It's not exactly the freest point in the world, especially since you have to go for a choke. You have to walk around 15-20 seconds from spawn to one of the longer distances on Assault. It's going to be quite difficult here. Someone's just kind of trying to build up to this minefield, and then it's going to be go time for Connecticut.
Yeah, and we see his guys swapping over to the Hanzo. Definitely thinks that it's better than the Widowmaker pick as of earlier. And we're going to see Molten Core being spread all over the Bastion, trying to keep him alive. And it does end up buying space, but it's not enough as your boy Wings and Nelsie end up finding the picks. But in the same breath, Nathan going to be finding 2 picks of his own. And Upstate still not letting this point go. But Nelsie does have Death Blossom and an angle to use it. Going to go straight in onto the team, pick up 2. And pick up 3 with the help of his guy, and they finally broke this point. It was super scary for him with only 120 left on the clock, but that's going to be it as Connecticut wins a close one there at the end.
Yeah, I think they did damage to themselves. Connecticut, let's be real.
Yep.
Those players are not used to playing those heroes. Samo is not a Wrecking Ball player. Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
But they got the job done, I guess that's something you can say. 3-0 for Connecticut. But also it was quite worrying for them, right? Even with off-rolls, you would expect Connecticut, especially with how well they did on their defense, to kind of go through Canisius. And I guess you could say, Canisius, they had an idea, right? Let's get a good, strong defensive setup. Let's try and annoy their flankers with a torp return. It worked for the most part, but also UCONN's execution on that attack was pretty poor.
Yeah, UConn's execution was different, right? It was to your point, they're not playing their main roles. They're definitely playing their off roles. But in the end, they definitely, got the job done, which is They got the job done, and they got to the point where, you know, it was just a nice little roll there at the end. They found the angles, and to your point again, they got the different angles that they needed, which was very important. So that's what I like to see from UConn. And then for Canisius, they put together a really great defense, actually. Sure, UConn's making mistakes, but you still have to be able to punish them, and Canisius definitely punished them. But, you know, we'll have to go ahead and talk with UConn for this interview that we're going to have coming up. But in the meantime, we are going to have a bit of a break. So go ahead, step away for a second, but we'll be right back with a UConn interview. We'll see you in a sec. And welcome back to season 3 of the EGF. We are here after a 3-0 win with a Helpful Fox from UCONN. Helpful Fox, how are we feeling after that win?
Feeling good. Had fun. It was a good game.
Yeah, you guys definitely seem like you're having a ton of fun, especially with some of these role stops we've seen in the last game. Give a little insight. What was the conversations like about that?
I believe we were thinking about subbing in a support for myself or maybe our other support. Uh, but then we just decided, since he wasn't back in time, that we were just gonna mix up the roles, make it a little more fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Sam wanted to play ball especially, and that was the main contributing reason. But other than that, we were just looking to have a little more fun.
Yeah, you guys swapping out roles was fun to watch. I was talking to Ocean mid game about the top 5, in which you guys have like officially entered as of right now, depending on wins and losses from some other teams. You guys would be top 5 with this win, putting you in the same conversation of Colorado, Marist, William and Mary, St. John's, teams like that. Do you consider yourself that good, or do you think that you still have some things to work on to maybe take down the undefeated Colorado, or or do you think you're right on that level?
Um, we we have a good understanding of what teams we can beat and what teams we can be competitive with, and then what teams we're just gonna absolutely lose to. Obviously, we like to take as many maps off as we can against teams like Colorado or Delaware or any of those top tier teams, but we're really just trying to improve and look like a good team when we play good teams like that.
Yeah, nice healthy level of humbleism there. I think. Oh shit, that's pretty. I think I
Yeah.
like it when you guys answer like that. That's good.
Yeah. I want to ask about goals for the rest of the season. What's really UConn's goal, and also I want to ask if there's anything you're working on before potential nationals.
Right now we're working on making sure that we're have good communication for the LAN. We're excited for that, and we're just trying to win our last few games before we go there. But really, we're looking to improve as a team before the LAN. These last games are important, but our main focus is the LAN later.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, Fox, do you have anybody you want to shout out or call out? Now that you have the stage here.
I believe Sam wanted me to give him a shout out for his amazing wrecking ball play.
we did notice some of the amazing wrecking ball play from Sam, but well, all right, Fox, we thank you for stopping in for the interview, and hopefully we'll see you again.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, everybody. That was a Helpful Fox from UConn after their 3-0 win over Canisius. It was, very, very lovely there for Helpful Fox and some of the role swaps. But don't go anywhere. We are going to take a bit of a break. We do have our official EGF channel that you can go check out some of those games going on. But in the meantime, we will be right back with UT Arlington and Cincinnati coming up right next.
Platícanos. Las posiciones, Diogo caminando hacia afuera con la cabeza viendo hacia el pasto. Platícanos, Gibran, ¿cómo está Naveda?
Bueno, pues ya ingresaron las asistencias médicas, se lleva un fuerte golpe en la cabeza, veremos si tiene algún corte. Por lo pronto Solari reaccionó de inmediato, fue a platicar con Santiago Sánchez, el señor técnico, que ya viene hacia...